Hey, what is up, guys? This is Bo, or Carl Hunga 712, and my cold is starting to subside, so my voice should sound a bit better. Hopefully it does anyways on your guys' end. It sounds a little bit better on my end. If you're wondering why I'm playing some Black Ops 2 in the background, it's actually an old Black Ops 2 gameplay. It's a double AGR gameplay, so for all you Call of Duty fans, you'll know what that is. For all you Battlefield fans that don't play, like I said, don't worry about it. The reason I didn't upload Battlefield 1 gameplay, since I'm going to be reviewing it, is just because Battlefield gameplay is so exceptionally long. Conquest games take forever. Rush games, unless you're planting bombs immediately, I mean, it takes forever. It's very long gameplay, and I figured I'd try to keep it at a minimum here. This gameplay will be around 10 minutes. This commentary will be around 10 minutes, so that is why I've got Black Ops 2 gameplay in the background. This is from a competitive match from Junior and I. This is when we were practicing right before we went down to Omaha and took second in the Black Ops 2 LAN tournament last year. It's pretty good gameplay. Basically, we're down a player. It's 3v4. We're playing a clan of guys. The first half ends up going kind of slow. We end up tying up the gameplay at the end on round 1, and then round 2 I end up going off and dropping double AGRs. If you're a Battlefield fan and you know what the hell an AGR is, don't worry about it. Like I said, the gameplay in the background is really not that big of a deal. It's more about my review of Battlefield 1 and the beta. So like I said, don't worry about the gameplay in the background, but the gameplay is really good for competitive Black Ops 2 standards. Like I said, I start off playing kind of slow, and then I really go off in the second half, and we kind of figure out what these guys are doing and start reading them like a book. But to start off with Battlefield 1, number one, Battlefield 1 looks incredible. The engine, the Frostbite engine, is just spectacular. When it comes to other shooters, other games, just other games in general out there, there's not too many games that are more beautiful, that are more gorgeous, that are just incredible to look at than Battlefield. I mean, the Frostbite engine is incredible. And that's kind of what I wish Call of Duty would do one of these years, is use something like the Frostbite engine, the Unreal Engine, something like that. Just because the scenery is just breathtaking. Even though we only got to play one map in the beta, I really thought we were going to play a couple of maps. I'm kind of surprised about that, but that's all right. But anyways, again, like I said, the gameplay, or the graphics of Battlefield 1, if you guys didn't get a chance to play the beta and you're going to pick up the game itself, I mean, it's just stunning. You guys will just love it. I remember when I first got into the game, I think I spent more time just admiring the map and the collisions, the sounds. The sounds of the game are just crisp. I mean, it sounds like you're actually in war. So right off the bat, the aesthetics of the game is just A+. The game's, just beautiful. The sounds, the guns, I mean, they sound amazing. So if you guys are looking for the feel of war, the sounds of war, connecting with the game, I mean, the game, just like I said, it's breathtaking. It really, truly is. After that, to be honest with you, to me, the game feels more like Battlefield 5 than it does Battlefield 1. You might be saying, well, what do you mean by that? To me, the game doesn't feel like World War I to me when I was playing it. Now, yes, there are a lot of bolt-action weapons, there are a lot of older single-shot weapons, but there were an awful lot of automatic weapons. And when I'm playing a Battlefield, or I'm playing a World War I shooter, I'm thinking trench warfare, bolt-action rifles, you're gritty, it's nasty, it's precision weaponry, it's nothing fancy like that. And from Battlefield 1, you didn't get a lot of that. And I also think of slower, more methodical gameplay. You didn't get that in Battlefield 1. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, and I understand to an extent why DICE decided to do that. I think because Battlefield 4 was, after they fixed the problem, see, I didn't play Battlefield 4 right from the start. I didn't see a lot of the problems with the game, and I know there were a ton of problems talking to a few of my buddies who are really big Battlefield players. I know there was a lot of problems with graphics, a lot of problems with the loading screens and things like that. But otherwise, Battlefield 4 was a phenomenal game. It really was. It was fast-paced. It was a pretty fast-paced game. And Battlefield 1 is as well. And like I said, when I think of bolt-action rifles, when I think of trench warfare, when I think of World War I think of slow, methodical gameplay where, accuracy, picking people off quick, like I said, with precision bolt-action weapons from a long distance. That's what I think of anyways. And you don't get that with Battlefield 1. You really don't. To me, the game feels exactly like Battlefield 5. Well, Battlefield 4 would feel with just different weapons. So, like I said, from a realism standpoint, if you're buying Battlefield 1 because you want that World War I feel, in my opinion, you're going to be disappointed. Now, like I said, I'd like to hear in the comment section what you guys think. In no way am I knocking the game I'm saying that's a negative from that standpoint, but the game is phenomenal. It really is. The game is fun. It's exciting. It feels great. It sounds great. It's different. It is a little bit different than, of course, Call of Duty, which is basically your other option in the FPS genre, unless you want Halo, which again is a futuristic shooter. So if you want an older style FPS game, Battlefield 1 really does a good job. I just don't think it did a great job. I think, I remember I was watching The War Owl, and if you guys ever watch his gameplays, he's a PC player, phenomenal, one of the best PC players you'll play. He mostly plays Counter-Strike, but he did a review on Battlefield 1, and I completely agreed with what he said. So if you guys want to go over to the War Owl's page, definitely do so. I recommend just watching all his videos. He's very knowledgeable individual, great gameplay. Like I said, just a stud when it comes to when he's on the PC. Really knows his stuff. But he ended up concluding that Battlefield 1 was rather ho-hum. It just was kind of eh. If I remember from his exact words, I think he said it was eh. And that's kind of how I felt. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That really isn't a bad thing when it comes to Battlefield 1. The game was very fun, very exciting. I enjoyed it. One of the problems I think you had in the beta, and I played a little bit of the beta on the PC. It lagged a bit for me on my PC, and I've got a pretty good PC, so. But anyways, when I went in and played some of the knocks I had, and I think this is just from the beta, but it happened a lot in Battlefield 4 as well. You have different classes of players for a reason. You have your medics to revive people. You have your support role that helps, you run out of ammo, you're holding the point down, you're doing some damage. That's what they're there for. That's what your support role is there for. Then, of course, you got your assault role. Basically, they're up there getting in your face. They've got the assault rifles. They're holding areas down, trying to gain map control. And then, of course, you've got reconnaissance. You've got your recon sniper role that's basically just trying to mark players and just give you information on the battlefield. Now, in the Battlefield 1 beta, you basically had 95% of your team running the reconnaissance role, just taking pop shots, basically not trying to capture any flags, not trying to really do much for your team, just taking pop shots at infantry players, just trying to get a few headshot kills. And basically, it reminds me of when you go into Call of Duty and you run across a phase member or something like that. They're going for their trick shots, they're going for their feeds. That was one of the big issues. Nobody ever ran the medic class. And I think one of the knocks also in the Battlefield 1 beta was that you could basically spawn in really quick if you held, if you held X down, or probably if you held A down on the Xbox, you'd spawn in quicker. And I think that's what more people were worried about, instead of, hey, I'll call a medic, which I always tried calling a medic first before I tried spawning in, just because I didn't like to lose my place on the battlefield, especially if I was in a good place around some teammates. But that was another problem I saw in the Battlefield 1 beta. Now, it could be because of the map. The map was very open. Basically, you had your town, what was it, the Sinai Desert. You had your town in the middle, and then it was basically just all completely wide open. So tanks were very valuable to you, and planes were very valuable to you. Now, the planes in the game were incredible, I will say that. You could tell the planes took, it took teamwork. This game takes teamwork, which is nice to see because, of course, coming from Call of Duty, as a lot of people will know, teamwork's not really a big part of the game, unless unless you're playing competitive. Teamwork's not a big thing, and that's one thing I'll say in Battlefield 1. If you want to win games, if you want to play well, teamwork's a big key. So when you go into public matches, if they were like they were in the beta, you're mostly going to deal with 95-98% of your team posted up on a head glitch or a rock somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, not trying to capture any flags, going for pop shots. But anyways, that was my review on the Battlefield 1 beta. On a 1 to 10 scale, I give it a 7 or an 8, 7.5. I think it's a phenomenal game. Sound, sights. It plays like Battlefield 5 would play. But anyways, I want to know your opinions down in the comment section. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next video, and Bo out.